everyone. Welcome to Author to Author. Today I have the incredibly talented Yvette Parker with me. She is an up-and-coming author from North Carolina, USA. Twisted Love was her debut title. Her newest book, Jezebel, Cassie's Ordeal, is the first in a new series. Her books tackle everyday issues in a new, insightful and entertaining way. Yvette holds a degree in business administration, which she utilizes to brand, market and publish her work. We'll talk a lot about book marketing with her today. Yvette, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me today.
Right, great to have you, Yvette. Let's quickly start the episode with your journey as an author. When did you start writing? How's been the overall experience so far?
Well, I started writing as young as 8 years old, to be honest. I started out writing poetry. And then when I got around 10, I wrote my first book, but I never published it. But finally getting it published, I did earlier this year in January. Is when I released this current book, Cassie's Ordeal.
Wow, wonderful. Right, Yvette, so you've had 2 launches in 2021 so far.
Yes, I have. I've had 2. My first one was Twisted Love, and my second one was Jezebel, and I'm hoping to have 2 more done by the end of the year. So I'm busy trying to get these books out here.
Wow, that's an amazing number for an author. 4 books in sort of 1 year. That's an amazing number. Keep up with the good work. I look for a lot more work from you. Yvette, let's quickly talk about writing. What does writing really mean to you? I mean, why do you write?
Writing is my escape. It's my happy place. It helps me to just not think about what's going on in the world, and I can just pour all my energy into my writing and release all that frustration. So I love it, and I try to have a lesson in each one of my stories, because I want to also help people open their minds up when they read my work. So some of the topics that I talk about are a little taboo, but I want people to look at things from a different perspective besides what they're used to, thinking about things.
Mm-hmm. True. And they say the first step is the most difficult of all. And Twisted Love, I'm sure, was a wonderful feeling when you finally held that paperback. Let's quickly talk about the book and how was the overall experience, right from you finished the manuscript to editing and then finally publishing it. How was the overall experience?
I thought that writing was going to be hard to actually put my words out. I got, frustrated and things about that. But once I really started writing, the work just flowed easily. The hardest part about it all was after I got done, formatting, editing and everything, and having to market my product. Marketing is a whole other avenue. And being that I have a little bit of business experience, that does help with that a lot. But I find I spend more time marketing than I do writing. That's the, kind of downfalls with that.
True. I think marketing is a very important part when it comes to self-publishing. So let me ask you, was the first book, Twisted Love, self-published, or did you?
It was self-published. It was self-published. Yeah, I've only self-published my works. I don't want to go through the process of, sending my manuscripts in, possibly getting rejected, waiting months and months to get my work out when I can self-publish and get it out there, because I do have a small fan base now, and I do have the readers that are waiting for my work, and I want to get it out and not have to wait on somebody else or have someone else tell me what I need to write. I like having all creative control.
True. I think if your work is good, doesn't matter if it's self-published or traditionally published, as long as you've done your homework, the cover page is good, your material is up to the mark, it's a niche story, it's a captivating story, people are going to read, because let's face it, readers don't care if it's a self-published book or a traditionally published book. They are in search of a good story. That's about it, right? And right. Even a self-published author can write as good as a traditionally published author. It's all about how you manage your editing, how you do the formatting, and finally how good your marketing is. Let's quickly talk about Twisted Love. Before we talk about the marketing strategies you use, let's talk about Twisted Love. What is the book about, and how's been the response so far?
Well, Twisted Love is my first book, and the story is about a lawyer who has a bunch of people around her who she thinks are, for her, but they're against her. And somebody from her past comes in and adds in this element that kind of destroys everything that she has going on. And there's also a subplot of the love interest that she starts pursuing also. And all of this all combined ends in a way that's really surprising for all the readers, because you never know what's going to happen. My following book after that is Cassie's Jezebel, Cassie's Ordeal, which deals with abuse. And it's a story that I wanted to tell because I've dealt with a lot of people that have kind of been in those situations, and I wanted to put a story out there for women that have been through that, to see that their past doesn't define them, that they can still find love and still, get all the things that they want, even though they've went through those traumatic things.
Truly, I think that's a wonderful message that you're sending, that your past doesn't define your present, or for that matter, your future. You can still find love. So you're dealing with a very important topic over here, which is the abuse part. So tell us, what was the most difficult part, while writing the second book?
Okay, well, obviously writing about the abuse was kind of hard. Those are things that, I have no personal experience with. So I had to just draw from, things that I've been told, and, things that I've read and things like that, to kind of script those scenes. And also there was a scene in the book where the mother had this monologue to her daughter whom she thought had passed, and it was a very emotional monologue to write. And then after she finished talking, she killed herself, and that scene was a lot. So I would say those were the harder parts of writing that.
Right. And let's quickly talk about some of your favorite lines from your story, from either of the books.
Well, one of my favorite phrases is from Jezebel, Cassie's Ordeal, and it is, "She should have listened to her intuition because trouble was brewing on the horizon." That line is my favorite because I feel like in life we could avoid so many things if we just trust our instincts and not overthink things and avoid red flags and stuff, ignore them. If we trust what we're feeling inside and we go with that, then I think things will work out for us a lot better. So that's one of my favorite lines in my book.
True. And let's quickly talk about the marketing part. Now that we are talking about how effective self-publishing can be, and marketing can be a pain area for self-publishing authors. They don't have that much reach compared to the traditional authors. So what kind of strategy do you utilize? Please tell our listeners about your marketing strategies.
Well, first of all, I've learned that I need to start marketing my book way before I even get it published. So getting word out about what you have coming up is important, way before you get it out, to build up anticipation for it. I utilize all my social media platforms in order to put the word out, and I network a lot. And I've found that the combination of all these things has helped me to sell a good deal of books.
Wow, wonderful. So a combination of social media and networking is required, guys. And you can get in touch with Yvette. We'll share the links shortly, and you can get in touch with her for any kind of suggestions or assistance that you require. Now, you've been a published author. You're going to publish your series shortly. Let's talk about the entire publishing process, and let's talk about your favorite and the least favorite part of publishing.
Well, my favorite part of publishing is release day. Release day is when you get your finished work in your hands, and it's such a rewarding experience to see all your blood, sweat, and tears and hard work in front of you. So I love release day. My least favorite part would have to be marketing, as I've said already.
Yeah.
It's just so time consuming, and I feel like sometimes I spend more time marketing than I do with actually writing, but it's necessary if you're trying to make money off your work to get this marketing done.
True. I think as much as you have spent time writing and editing your book, more time will be surely spent on marketing, because that is how you will create a brand for yourself and your work. Otherwise, it's just a link on Amazon. It's just a link on some other website.
Right. You can't just stick a link out there and expect people to go to your work. You have
exactly
to traffic to it.
You have to take your work to the people. It's like I said, it's a bit difficult for self-published authors. I'm sorry, but yeah, it can be done. And there are a lot of self-published authors, successful self-published authors, who've got a very good marketing plan, and they've managed to sell their book really well. Yeah? So it can be done. Right. Let's quickly talk about the titles of your book. Both titles are pretty unique. So how did you come up with the title of the book?
Okay, well, Twisted Love is about a love story that is taboo, and a lot of people would look at it like, oh my God, that's twisted. So that's how I came up with the name for Twisted Love. Jezebel, Cassie's Ordeal, it's about, Jezebel is a reference to a biblical term for a woman that sleeps around. And Cassie is the main character in the book, and the ordeal is what she went through, which led her down the Jezebel path. So that's how I came up with that title.
Right. And what was the idea behind the books, the stories?
Well, Twisted Love, I don't know where that came from. I'm just gonna be honest. I have a very vivid imagination, and I just started writing, and the story just came out. And that's what I got, that's how that came about. Jezebel, as I spoke earlier in the podcast, I wanted to, put something out there for women that have been through traumatic experiences. And I wanted them to know that, they shouldn't let those experiences define them.
Right. Truly amazing, both the books. Guys, both the books are available on Amazon and Amazon Kindle. You can search with the name Yvette Parker. So let's quickly talk about, your writing space. They say that, writing space is very important for writers and authors. So what is it that you require in your writing space to, sort of stay focused?
Well, first of all, it can't be cluttered. I can't work with a lot of stuff around me, or I'm going to get distracted. And it has to be quiet. I have to have peace and quiet. Some people can, write with music and all those things. I can't do it. It has to be completely quiet and silent for me to get this stuff done.
Right. And usually, when we talk about the productive time during the day, so what's your, favorite time for writing during the day? Is it during early morning, mid, or maybe late at night?
Usually, well, I don't have a specific time of day because my schedule varies, because I have a child I also have to, take care of also. So it's more of, I find myself overwhelmed when I try to do it at one time during the day. I like to do it in the morning, but if I can't, then it's whenever I have time that's peace and quiet that I can get it done. And usually that's late at night.
Right. And what are the future, what is the future of your characters? Will there be sequel for the first book as well?
Yes, I'm planning 2 sequels. As I hope they come out at the end of the year. I'm pushing to get both of them out at the end of the year. Twisted Love will have a sequel, and Jezebel, Cassie's Ordeal will have a sequel. The sequel to Twisted Love will be Twisted Love 2. And Cassie's Ordeal sequel will be Jezebel Saving Destiny. And those should be hitting the link. I should have it on Amazon hopefully by December.
Right, great. I look forward to more work from you. And what do you do when you are not writing?
If I'm not writing, I'm working on my podcast. I have an Elevation podcast that's on all platforms. I'm working on my YouTube channel. Hanging out with my son, hanging out with my family and friends. I love to travel. So when I'm not writing, those are the things that I'm doing.
A lot of different activities, right? And how often do you write? People say that writing needs time and best words sort of come out in leisure. How do you manage your time to write and the work that you do? So how do you juggle between them?
How do I manage that? I just go by what my day is.
Okay, and how often do you write? I mean, are you a very disciplined author?
I try to write a little bit every day. So even if it's a line, that's one step closer to getting me finished to what I'm trying to do.
Right. I mean, yeah, truly, you can't push it, right? So it has to come from within. The idea has to come from within. If it's not there, it's not there, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And, if there is this one message that you have for the young and aspiring authors who are willing to explore the new dimensions of creative writing, what would that be?
I would just tell them to do it. Don't talk yourself out of it. There's a million reasons not to do it, but there's that one reason to do it. Somebody out there is going to wants to hear your story, and just get it out there. Don't try to make it perfect at first. That's what editing is for. There's always a place for what you want to do. So just do it. That's my advice.
Right, just do it. And Yvette, let's talk about editing. Do you do self-editing or you've hired a professional editor for it?
Right now I'm doing self-editing because, I'm an indie publisher. So I'm trying to save money any way that I can. So that's, I'm doing it myself. It takes a lot of time and I have to go over it a lot. I utilize, letting Word read it out to me. I use Grammarly, things like that. I have, peer reviewers to look over it and, do all that before, I put it out.
Oh yeah, let's talk about peer review. How do you usually do that? Could you explain the process to the listeners?
Well, usually I put out a query of who would, like to read my work and ask and let them volunteer, people in the writing community, which I met on my Twitter, which is great for networking, I found out. And if they want to review it, they, let me know. And then I send them my manuscript and, they send me back their feedback. That's how I do it.
Wow, wonderful. And has that been effective?
I find it being very effective because when you ask people that are close to you, sometimes they won't tell you the truth.
Yeah, that might happen. Beta reading or peer review can be a bit tricky when it comes to sharing your work with the known people. They may not be upfront. Maybe they don't want to be rude, but yeah.
They don't want to hurt your feelings. They don't want to be
exactly.
rude.
They don't want to hurt your feelings too. I think that's a very good way of doing it. Putting it on writing communities and asking for volunteers to do that. That's a wonderful way, right? Okay.
Right.
And right, so this is a very interesting question, and most authors love the idea. So what if your books are made into movies, right? So who would be the characters that you would like to play?
I think that I would definitely need like Regina Hall or Angela Bassett in there to play one of my main characters. Loretta Devine would be somebody I would want in there. And besides that, I'm not really sure who else I would want, but those are some of the people that I would want to be involved in my production.
Wonderful, formidable cast. You're the casting director, remember, for your work, and you can choose your cast for the purpose of this interview. Okay, right. Please, Evette, tell our listeners how they can get in touch with you. What are your different social media platforms and different resources that you have for the young and aspiring authors?
They can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Yvette_author, and they can find me at Facebook at Yvette Author, all together with no spaces. They can message me anything they have, or they can comment and let me know any ideas that they have, they want to hear me talk about or want to see in my work.
Right. And this is sort of the best that I save for the last. So in the entire helm of everything that you do, your business marketing and everything, how has writing sort of changed your life, or it hasn't impacted at all?
Writing changed my life a lot because I don't know, like I felt a little lost, I'm be honest. We go to work, we do all these other things, but we don't do things for ourselves. Writing is what I do for me. That's just for me. I mean, of course, I put things out there for other people and they get things out of it. But this, I feel like it's my purpose to get my words out. And I find that I feel more fulfilled since I've started writing.
Right, great. And in terms of the budget, what would you suggest to the new and aspiring authors? Should the maximum budget be on publishing, or the maximum budget should be allocated for marketing?
That I'm not really sure with, because like I said, just starting out, I would try to find whatever I can get that is free at first, and you can build up to, paying for different things. Don't let people come to you and charge you thousands of dollars to do certain things, because all it takes is a YouTube search and you can get step-by-step instructions to do almost anything. So really do your research before you start handing your money to other people to help you get your work out.
True. Pick your resources very carefully. Utilize the free resources which are available. And also on Facebook, you've got a lot of groups for promoting books. There are a lot of indie author book and indie publishing groups, so you could utilize that as well.
Yeah, I was saying that there are lots of things that you can utilize to put yourself out there where you don't have to pay people, because people will try to charge you for the same things that you can do yourself.
True. Try it yourself. There are a lot of DIY videos on YouTube, rightly pointed by Yvette over there. You can do it yourself if you want to do it. If you put your brain behind it, you can surely do it. Remember, you're an author. You've overcome so many difficulties to write a good story. You can do a lot of other things. Editing can be done by yourself if you are up to it, or find a good editor. There are a lot of portals wherein you can go and find economical editor who are good as well, and then take the marketing in your hand. Take charge of your marketing plan. Just do some research, find out ways to market your book in different ways, and I'm sure you can make your book successful. Yvette, thank you so much for sharing these wonderful tips with us. I'm sure a lot of young and aspiring authors will find the information useful. Thank you so much for taking time out to be with me today.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Great. So guys, that was Yvette Parker. You can get in touch with her on Instagram and Facebook ID. And also her work is available on Amazon and Amazon Kindle. Just search for Yvette Parker, author, and you will find her work. Thank you so much, guys, for taking time out to listen to us. I'll be back with another episode shortly. Till that time, have a great day and take care. Thank you.